Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Oyster Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at V-Union generally, and a bunch of rulings about them. Because I've had messages from a bunch of people asking me a pretty particular question since VMAX Climax came out. So, what happened with VMAX Climax is something a little bit weird happened that we've never seen before. You see, in packs of VMAX Climax, you can pull Morpeko V-Union, which incidentally is a pretty big deal because, you know, it's a proper V-Union. Having said that, pulling V-Unions from a pack wasn't exactly completely unheard of, because although we got our Pikachu V-Union in Celebrations as its own box, etc., and I'm hearing rumours that mine is literally out for delivery as I record this video, but I don't know, I've heard that before. I had to stop recording then because the dog started barking because someone was delivering something. I thought it might be the V-Union, I thought I might have made it happen, but no, so far. So we got ours as a promo. Japan actually got theirs in their 25th anniversary collection packs, which was really kind of cool because, of course, they're 5-card packs, one of which is an energy. So if you get the V-Union pack, your pack is literally the V-Union and an energy card, which is kind of awesome. But none of this was ever much of an issue until VMAX Climax gave us Morpeko, and they gave us the character super rare of Morpeko. Because now, for the very first time, what we've actually got is two different prints of the same card. And that's very, very interesting indeed. And the question that a lot of people have been asking, and I've had this question from, honestly, a bunch of people over the past few days since I've been covering the character super rare and all of that. Hey, Wassy, can you mix and match? And the answer very simply is no. And what's interesting is, we're not talking about some new ruling that's just been made in the past couple of days or anything along those lines. This ruling was made a while ago. The article announcing V-Union was published on the Pokemon website on the 10th of September of this year. And it talked about Pokemon V-Union arriving into Pokemon TCG, and, you know, obviously we'd already seen them over Japan and all of that, but it still introduced them. But it also included this paragraph. Each Pokemon V-Union is 4 separate cards that combine to form a larger card. All 4 parts have the same name, so using the above example, you can only have 4 total Mewtwo V-Union cards in your deck. If you have all 4 parts of the same Pokemon V-Union in the discard pile, you can put them into play and assemble the larger Pokemon V-Union. Once it's in play, treat it like a normal Pokemon. It takes up 1 spot on your bench. It can only have 1 Pokemon tool attached, etc. Here's the key bit. Also, all 4 parts of a specific Pokemon V-Union in your deck must be part of the same full illustration. Now, what I'm expecting has happened here, and I don't blame anybody for this incidentally, but what I'm expecting has happened is that at the time, nobody really paid much attention to that paragraph, that sentence, that ruling, because it wasn't particularly relevant. Because at the time, we had 3 Pokemon V-Union, and we hadn't had any kind of alternate art. And not only have we not had any alternate art, but by virtue of them being released as promos, there was never any chance of getting an alternate art. They were never going to do that. Of course, it is interesting to note that over in Japan, those first 3 V-Union, Greninja, Mewtwo, and Zacian, were all actually released in standalone boxes, just like they were released over here. Even with Pikachu V-Union, and don't get me wrong, right, Pikachu V-Union's got some of the coolest artwork we've ever seen, but there's no way they would make it a second version of that. 25 Pikachu done by 25 different artists. We were never going to get this in some kind of alternate art form. That was just never going to happen. But now it has happened, and frankly, it could happen again. I'm not saying it will, but I'm saying a precedent has been set. So let me be perfectly clear. If you take all 4 parts of Pikachu V-Union and you compare it to all 4 parts of Pikachu V-Union, the character super rare, they're actually the same. The 4 corners, only 4 attacks on Morpeko, and they are the same on each one. So the free energy 160 is in the bottom right hand corner, regardless of which Morpeko you look at. And functionally, you could mix and match and it would still be the same card. The cards have, the top left corner of each artwork has the exact same information as the other one. But you are not allowed to mix and match. Why is this a thing? Why did the ruling come around? I don't work for Pokemon, I can't tell you for absolute certain. But, come on, it's because it would be too confusing. It would be a bit of a nightmare, wouldn't it? Especially, imagine kids who are largely the demographic for the Pokemon TCG. Imagine having 3 parts of one and 1 part of another. It would look like a weird card, it would look broken, it wouldn't make a huge amount of sense. This is purely just there for ease of use. It does, however, bring a very interesting question. Now, over in Japan, this is really nice and simple. If you pull Morpeko V Union, you will pull all 4 parts of Morpeko V Union. Although, interestingly enough, there are some reports of people having received an extra corner. So they get the full one, but then they get an extra corner as well, which is honestly kind of weird. But you're going to get all 4 parts. And if you get the character super rare, you're going to get all 4 parts. So there isn't really any kind of issue or question here. It's all entirely irrelevant. You are not going to pull one or the other. Now, we could compare this to back in the day with, for instance, Legends, and I have gone on record as saying that Legends are some of the coolest cards ever. These were not put into pairs. So essentially, what you would end up, Dialga Palkia Legend, let's go for that one because, we're in Gen 4 remake territory at the moment, and essentially what happened was that you could pull half of that card. So you could absolutely potentially pull 4 tops and no bottoms, because again, the pull rates for these were very, very low. You would get kind of 1/2 of a legend per box, and it was absolutely possible you would never end up with both the halves, and that was super awkward. In Japan, that's not a question. Is it going to be over here? Because one of the big issues we've got is how is Morpeko V Union going to be distributed? Over here, we've had 4 V Union. They have always been in their own box, so there's never been an issue. And I was pretty content to suggest that that was going to happen to Morpeko V Union as well. But do we really think they're going to make 2 boxes? One for the regular, one for the character super rare? I don't think they're going to do that. Do we really think they are going to put both of the artworks into the same box? They could, but I don't think they would do that. So what's the deal? Do they end up putting it in a set? And if they put it in the set, do they do what Japan does, i.e. if you pull 1 part, you pull all 4? Or do they put it in boxes and we just never get the second half? As in the second artwork? Or are there 2 boxes or 1 box with 2 artworks? And the answer is we don't know, which is kind of sad. I suppose when we do know, I'll make a video about it, I'll tell you all about it. As it stands at the moment, we don't know how this is happening. We don't even know if we're ever getting the second artwork. It might remain irrelevant over here. But the point is, unfortunately, you cannot mix and match. Now, there are a few other rulings which are kind of important we do need to mention just quickly. It is important that you cannot use the same one twice, i.e. if you've already used Morpeko V Union, you cannot reuse Morpeko V Union. All 4 of the parts are called Morpeko V Union. No, you cannot put 4 of the regular and 4 of the alternate art in your deck and play 2 of them in the same game. That would be awesome. It's not possible. In the Digimon TCG, it's 4 of each card, and it's actually done by set number, and these have different set numbers, but unfortunately over here, it is in the Pokemon TCG, it is very much the name of the card. You can have 4 Morpeko V Union. I suppose, I don't think there's anything to actually stop you putting the top of regular Morpeko and the bottom of alternate art Morpeko in your deck. but you wouldn't then be able to play it from the discard. You would just have 4 unplayable cards in your deck, which I don't think is a particularly good idea. And as a little addendum to what I just said, do remember that although each V-Union can only be put into play once per game, you can put multiple V-Union into play. Again, this was announced when they actually officially revealed them, so if you've played more Pico V-Union, you can't play another, but you absolutely could play a Mewtwo or a Greninja or something along those lines, so that's not too bad, ladies and gentlemen. It is interesting, of course, that V-Union are just not setting the world on fire. In terms of playability, you look at the results of the big online tournaments, and they are just not overflowing with V-Union. At the moment, it seems like Pokemon have not done a great job in terms of making them essential cards that need to see play, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. They're so interesting and so powerful when you get them rolling, I do think there is going to come a time when they are actually really good. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this. I want to know your opinion. I want to know basically anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, or you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.